I've been watching all of these other gunfight tips videos, and all of the tips that they're offering seem super pointless. Communication is key. Bring a teammate. Look at your gear at the beginning of the match. Use your UI. Cap the flag and play your health advantage. Read your enemy and learn how they play. I mean, obviously, you should listen to all of these tips because they're good things to do, but I feel like you probably knew all these already. So, what else can you do to win in gunfight? That's the question. So today we're going to take a look at my top 10 secrets that I use to help me get the upper hand in a gunfight match. Make sure you stay tuned until the end because I'm going to be covering some of the sneaky spots that I like to use on the different maps as well. First up, guys, when you kill an enemy, make sure you're really listening to those in-game voice comms because a lot of the times when you can hear them, if they're not just complaining or screaming at you, calling you a cheater or whatever, they're calling out something to their teammate or saying something to their teammate that might help you get the upper hand. Whether it's calling your position out or saying to watch a certain direction, it's information that you can gain that you didn't have before. All of the information you have in gunfight is what is going to help you win. So the more you know, the more you win. For number two, one of the big things I see people doing all the time is peeking the same angles right off the start of the match. This is not good. You should be trying other things throughout the match, such as baiting your teammate and peeking the same angle as them at the same time, trying to gain the upper hand in a 2v1. The big thing I do, especially when I'm playing with a random and not with a teammate that I'm friends with or, play with a lot, is I like to bait them. They may not know it, and they may get a little upset about it if they think I'm baiting them all the time and it's not producing any results. But a lot of the times, if you can take that fight 2v1 instead of 1v1 and doing it all by yourself, you give yourself a greater opportunity to win the round, even if it means that one of you dies so that the other one can get the kill. Ending up in a 1v1 is way better than ending up in a 1v2. Third is kind of a player health advantage sort of thing, but it's a way to get that advantage actually. So stuns and flash grenades are super interesting in this game. They do, when they explode and they hit an enemy, whether you stun them or you flash them, it does 1 HP of damage. So if you are tied with an enemy 1v1 and you've both got 100 health or you both got 50 health or you just have both the same health, whatever it is, and you have a general idea of where he's at and you have a stun grenade, toss that thing at him because if it hits him and it explodes, it's going to do 1 HP of damage. It's going to force him to go play the flag instead of you having to either wait it out to see if he goes to play the flag and then going to do it yourself or whatever. It's going to give you an upper hand. It's going to force his hand and allow you to play it however you'd like. Also, something to note here is pay attention to your enemy's health because if he's sitting at 1 HP but he's hiding somewhere and he's got a sniper or something that can one-shot you, use that stun. Throw a flash at him. All it has to do is explode near him and it's gonna kill him. Next, we're gonna be talking about our sound. Sound is huge in this game. I mean, if you're not sound whoring, you're probably not doing it right. As unfortunate as that is. Footstep cues can give you a huge advantage. If you go into your audio settings and you change your audio mix to boost high, I've found personally, and I know others have the same experience, that this lets you hear footsteps as loud as possible. Now, this is going to make the game overall much louder, so you're going to want to turn down the master volume more than likely, unless, of course, you like blowing out your eardrums or something. This will really, really bring out the enemy's footsteps. At least it did for me. So I can hear an enemy's footsteps from much, much further away now than I was able to before. That being said, for the next tip, crouch walking and ADS walking, these things will make your footsteps almost perfectly quiet in most situations. It doesn't work when you're going up or down stairs. I found that while moving up or downstairs, even if you're ADSing or crouch walking, your feet are still super loud, just all the way up the stairs. I don't know why. If you need to move around without the enemy hearing you, or you need to sneak around for whatever reason, just ADS and walk in the direction you need to, or crouch and walk in the direction you need to. It'll get the job done. It's won me a lot of matches. Next up, make sure you know your strengths and you play to them. So, for instance, my strength is that 9 out of 10 times I know I have the confidence that my aim will beat whoever I'm going up against. Now, that doesn't take into account my internet connection or whether or not my reaction speed has been faster than that other person's, or whatever. So in this case, if I'm given a shotgun and a pistol and we're playing on king, for instance, I'm going to play back with my not with my shotgun, with my pistol, and take that long range aim duel to try and out aim him and hit as many shots as I possibly can or kill him. This is going to give me the advantage because I know my strength is aim. My strength isn't necessarily running around a corner and reacting faster with a shotgun than him. So if I can set myself up to win playing towards my strengths, I'm going to have a greater chance at winning the overall gunfight match. The same thing comes into play when you get like an LMG and a Kar 98 or whatever your drops are, if it's OSP, if you have to go pick up your weapons, I mean. In that case, you know, if you've got some heavy aim weapons around, make sure you're still picking up a secondary. You want a pistol or an SMG or an assault rifle to have in case you need to switch to it for that close range battle. But if you can pick up a carbine or a Kar 98 or a sniper, because you know you've got a heavy aim advantage over your enemy and you can play back and win that aim duel, then do it. Play to your advantage. Or if you've got a super fast reaction time, but your aim is mediocre and you know where the shotgun is spawning or they've given you a shotgun, go get that thing and take your enemy out if that's your advantage. And the last tip before we get into some of the maps, make sure that you're using your equipment not only offensively and defensively, but also as a bait. You can use your stuns and flashes and your nades just to bait the enemy out if you have no idea where they're at. So for instance, if it's 1v1, and you know the enemy's full health and maybe you're 50% or whatever, one thing you can do if you don't know the location of that enemy is just throw a stun grenade or a flash grenade somewhere on the map, but try to keep it low so they can't see the trajectory of where it's coming from, because they're gonna hear that explosion and they're gonna check out that sound and try to figure out what's going on. Maybe they think you're pushing and they panic a little, whatever. They may get some sound cues for you. They may help you get the advantage, whatever it is. This has won me a match multiple times. You don't need to have an objective other than just to bait the enemy out when you use your equipment. The same thing goes with firing off a couple shots. If I don't know where the enemy's at and I don't have any equipment and it's 1v1 or even 1v2, I'm going to fire off a shot or two into the ground just to make some noise and try to get their attention, get them to reveal where they're at, and maybe then I get the upper hand and can win an aim duel versus trying to sneak around and my nerves being through the roof and not having the opportunity because he snuck up behind me. No, I'm going to make some noise, and then he's going to feel more comfortable making some noise and give away his position. One more pro tip before we get into the maps. Make sure if it's 1v2, you're trying to take 1v1 battles as much as possible. If you know you're being pushed from both sides, pick a side and push out that side. You want to take the 1v1 fights one at a time instead of a 1v2 where you peek and both enemies are staring at you. Now, they may be good and they may not let you peek without having to face both of them, but they are more than likely not grouped up with each other and pushing from both sides or whatever it may be. And you can push out one side, take an aim duel, win that one, turn around, and then take the other 1v1. This is the ideal situation in 1v2 and will definitely increase your odds of winning that 1v2. So next up are the map tips. Some of these can be used to peek early in the round. Some of them can be used just to hold an off angle or get a random position. Or some of these are like nifty little things that you can use to push an enemy from a direction that maybe they didn't realize you could push them from. First up, we've got Hill. Hill is an interesting one. I hate this map. Honestly, it's not my favorite, but there are definitely a lot of sneaky spots that you can jump up on to gain an advantage. For instance, this broken wall. This one has snagged me so many early round kills and so much information at the beginning of a round. You can climb up on this wall and you can either climb all the way up and get a really good view or only halfway up and still have a little bit of cover. And you can kind of just see over the middle of the map and potentially peek or kill an enemy. Same thing goes for the rocks in the back of the map, right off of the spawn. You can just jump up on these rocks and get a clear view of a lot of the map. You can get a lot of information. You can potentially do some damage or get a kill. These are great things to use. And then in the back corners of Hill as well, on either side, you can get up on these rocks and again, get a clear view over the map. It's just a great sight angle. You have to be careful though, because you are visible to everybody, so they can shoot you too. But if you haven't used it a lot, they probably won't expect it. And then if you're feeling a little sneaky and you don't want to push out and you just want to hide, there's this little crevice over here in the back of the map. You can just lay here and hide. Nobody will see you. Next up is Gulag. This one's interesting because you can climb on this broken shower right at the beginning of the match to peek. I don't see a lot of people do this, but this is a great off angle to peek at the very beginning of a round. They mostly don't expect it, especially if they're peeking middle a lot. If you're peeking up above and your teammate's peeking down below, there's a great chance that you guys are going to win those aim duels versus if you both peek down below, because then there's a greater chance that they just hit you without having to move their mouse cursor. And same goes for these lockers on the wall or edge of the map here. You can mantle up on top of these and hold a great off angle or lay down and watch all the way across into their spawn. These things will net you many kills if you use them properly. They work great for me. I highly recommend it. And then we head over to Pine. Pine is a fun map. You can climb on this large rock on the left side of the spawn here. Most people don't realize that you can climb on top of this thing. If the enemy's hiding behind it, you can just run and jump over them. They'll have no idea where you came from. Or you can use this in a 1v1 to play a huge off angle. If someone's hiding on the other side of the map and you know they're going to peek eventually, climb up here, wait for them to peek. They're never going to expect you to be up there. And then back in the other spawn, you can hide in the spawn cubby here. What's great about this is you can kind of tuck yourself away in here and hide yourself from either the left or the right side with a little bit more cover. And they usually don't check it. So if you need to play your health and just wait and see what happens and you know they're pushing you or something, play this angle. It's a great chance that you'll get a kill. And lastly, for Pine, we've got these jump peeking spots from on top of this tree stump and on top of this flat table looking structure. You can stand on these when you have a sniper or a carbine or something, and you can jump peek actually and see all the way down into their spawn and all of the different spawn angles they might be holding. I've gotten many kills here. It'll help you win the round. It'll help you win a match. It's kind of a little cheeky, and once you start using it, if you use it once or twice on an enemy, chances are they're going to use it against you too, so be careful. Then we head on over to Speedball. So on Speedball, you can jump on the objects closest to your spawn on the container side to get a higher view of the map and see enemy movement. It's very risky. I don't always recommend this, but you can also use these to climb on top of the containers themselves in a 1v1 or 1v2. If you know the enemies are hiding around the containers, jumping on this and jumping up on top of the containers when they can't see you will help you gain a huge advantage. They're not going to be looking up, chances are, unless of course they see you jump up there. It'll definitely allow you to get 1 kill, maybe 2 if you do it right. And then we head on over to Stack. Stack is a great one because this particular spot is my favorite of all time. It's won me the most matches, particularly when the Gunfight tournament was going on. I used this spot a lot and nobody ever expected it. But as you can see, the surfaces of the sandbags on the left and right of the center platform are uneven. And you can stand on those sandbags and on the uneven parts of the surfaces to boost your character up a little and see right over the center platform. But the only thing they can see for you is really the top of your helmet. It is a cheeky little head glitch. 99% of the time, they're either not going to see you there or not react fast enough to actually hit you in the head without shooting through the wall and doing reduced damage or anything like that. Plus, you can just crouch here and they won't see you. And as soon as you hear them start to run up the stairs towards a container or whatever it may be, all you have to do is stand up and then they're screwed. This one's my favorite. It's won me so many matches. Use it, just not against me, please. Gunfight is one of my favorite game modes that was introduced in this Call of Duty. It is great fun. It's super competitive, and I am super competitive. So if you didn't know that about me already, you do now. I love to win. So this is right up my alley. And you want to make sure that you're always learning. And by subscribing to the channel, you can see when I post new videos, and you're giving yourself a great chance of leveling up. So make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell. Let me know what you guys thought of the video, and I'll definitely see you guys next time. Peace.